this little video series is called Dying Dar's Way, Radically Real Spiels on the End of Life. I'm here today with my friend Cindy Foss, who came up with the name of the video, which shall forever be...
It's going to be Dor's Logical Miracles sweater story.
So there seems to be no limit to my friend's interest in capturing the knitting stories, and Cindy is no exception. I recently gifted her a sweater that I made for myself, and she got it, quite frankly, because she's the only person I know narrow enough through the shoulders to be able to fit into it, and we took it from there. She really ran with the ball of the sweater is a story. So
when Dorothy had the aha moment of, I think I have something for you, I could see that her brain literally was having a logical miracle. And the logical miracle was figuring out that I had the right body type to be gifted this sweater. The sweater itself is a masterpiece. There's so many stories connected to it. And so one of the things I even asked her is, where did the design come from?
And that's when we went down the rabbit hole. So the story began with the website for the Suppers Programs, which is my nonprofit organization. And back, I'm going to say 12 or 15 years ago, we had no website, but we had my favorite colors to work with. And so we took the purples and the greens and everything that were my favorite colors, and I just gave the color palette to this friend of mine, Dawn Voden, and she took the little swatches, or whatever you call it when you're doing designing a website, and she just started designing the website with my favorite colors. And then me being me, I realized that I had to execute sweaters and hats and stuff also using my favorite colors. So the palette came from the Suppers website, and then one day I just spontaneously erupted into into the execution of it. But I have to say that what this particular sweater looks like, not just the color patterns, but what this particular sweater ended up being was a reflection of my neural organization. If you don't know me, we have over 700 recipes on the Suppers website, most of which I devised, but I can't cook following directions. It just about killed me to have to write recipes, and God forbid I should ever try to follow one of my own recipes. I could never do it. And so when I was asked to do a talk for local gardeners on where the design of my garden came from, because an important part of the Suppers program is also designing gardens and garden programs, I said, well, I'm going to wear that sweater because what I want to talk about is neural organization. And so I started this talk saying how we do something is how we do everything. Basically, we are all prisoners of our own experience. And if you want to know a person, just look at their garden. You're going to understand how their mind works just by looking at their garden. If you want to understand who a cook is, taste her food or his food. There are just so many pathways to insights about who and how people are just by observing the evidence about their neural organization. So that's where it came from.
And I remember you also saying the actual size of it, which we'll show you later in the video, was that you originally made it for comfort too. That you
Oh,
wanted it to be
she's right.
comfortable.
She's right. So, as I've aged, I have been less and less willing to bow to the vanity issues and more a slave to my own comfort. And I've always had a lot of digestive issues. So I decided that any garments that I make now have to be attractive enough, but super comfortable, or I'll never wear them. And I will never wear something that pinches me around the middle or is too tight around the neck. I am going for comfort now. So, and that's very comfortable. It's loose in
It's
the places
tucked
that
in
you need.
tight here.
Mhm.
It shows off my waist.
Mhm.
It comes down below the belly area. The ruffles. You said you used to have go through a little quirky stage there, and you did things with ruffles too.
I go through phases, and this was my knitted ruffle phase. Everything I made had knitted ruffles.
there.
And I'm so amused now that people are actually interested in the story of the knitting. But what I want you to know is it's really hard to be anything else than your own neural organization. I could no sooner follow a pattern or a recipe than I could spontaneously erupt into speaking Swahili. I mean,
But when I asked you too, where some of the patterns were, like there's roses here, there's birds here, and there's what you had said, men and women here holding hands, dancing. And so yesterday, I thought, you said, I stole it out of my imagination. And so I thought that was adorable. But you also said you were very influenced by Scandinavian books as well.
So my early history was very much crafted by a Norwegian exchange student, Karen, who was with me my senior year of high school. She's one of the most influential people in my entire life, having introduced me to brown goat cheese, which she doesn't eat anymore. It's sort of, I don't know, peasant cheese or something like that. And she introduced me to knitting. And she very pragmatically said, but Dorothy, we knitted sweaters because we needed sweaters. And well, that was like 45 years ago. And I kept on knitting sweaters because it was a comfortable place for me to experience my neural organization.
So thank you for sharing everything about the sweater. I was so blown away with how gorgeous it is and all the love that went into it.
Every stitch.
Even today when you had shared it, it really just touched me because because of your inability to follow directions, the creativity that was flowing through you and the organized chaos of what you were doing. You said there was so much fun in making the first half of the sweater. And I had teared up. I literally could just feel the vibration of that love and excitement when you were sharing that.
It's embarrassing being in my body. It's really quite mortifying, the things that I can't do. But you want me to talk about front and back?
A little, yeah.
So the worst thing about knitting the front of a sweater is that you will have had the entire experience of knitting the sweater, and then you have to knit the back. And it's virtually identical. If you want to take somebody at the height of their ADD, ADHD, and tell them you have to do the exact same thing over again, you could have World War III on your hands, because the last thing I'm going to ever want to do is repeat what I already had that creative process.
Okay. And because of that story, well, a couple of things. I decided that when I wear this sweater, if anybody says, ooh, nice sweater, they're going to get the Doors Logical Miracle sweater
They're gonna
story.
get the whole
They're going to
Marianne.
get the whole story here, and so that's why we're starting with the video. But I will also add in that this is the fun half, and this is not the fun half. So thank you for
Thank you,
sharing
Cindy.
that.
Mwah.
And here's the fun half, the front, and then here we go.
Woo!
With the ruffles and how she designed it, the hug so delicately here. Put that, and I just happen to have a purple
there you
turtleneck to
go.
wear underneath it.
Yeah.
So there we go. Thank you. I love
Who
you.
knew? Mwah.